company's financial statements shows you how the company is performing financially, which is one of the most important things that you should look into when you are looking to a good company or stock to invest in. If the company is reporting a good or better financials than the one it previously reported, then that is a very good sign that you should take as an investor to say that that company is doing well. Whereas if the company is performing bad or it released bad results when comparing to the results that it has previously released, then that is a sign of showing that maybe you might have to check a thing or two as to what is causing that company to report poor financials than there is financials they had reported previously. So as I've said, these financials that these companies gives us help us make a precise decision when choosing which companies or which stock to invest in, which is a very good thing that you ought to always check on the companies you are investing in terms of how those companies are doing or performing financially. But as I've said, you would have to check. I don't just throw a stock away because probably they reported poor financials than the ones that they reported in the previous financial results they had released. But I also check as to what's causing that company to report such poor financials, because you'll understand that as a stock market investor, there are certain things that can come out and hit a certain industry which result in that industry reporting losses or reporting poor financial results. So it's very important that we don't just throw away a company or leave a certain company because it released or reported poor financials, but it's very important that you also check as to why is that company reported or what caused that company to report poor or release poor financial results. Otherwise, guys, on today's video, guys, we'll be going through or analyzing a company that many of you have been requesting me to do a video about, and this company is none other than the Purple Group. So as I've indicated, the reason why I decided to do this video is because I've received so many requests from you guys asking me to do a short analysis on this company to check if whether it's a good investment or not. So before we dig deep into the analysis, please know that I'm not a professional financial advisor. Everything that I'll be touching base or everything that I'll be discussing here with you on this video are just my opinions, and if you seek professional financial advice, you already know what to do. You need to go and consult the professionals. Otherwise, as I've indicated, on today's video we'll be looking at the latest financial results that Purple Group just recently released. So these latest results are the ones that we are going to use on today's video to determine if Purple Group is a good investment or not. But before we go to the financials, I think for the benefit of those who don't know who Purple Group is, this is a financial services company. The company provides trading and investment solutions. So these trading and investment solutions are divided into three, namely G247, Emperor Asset Management, and the famous EasyEquities. But since we know that all these three companies belong under Purple Group, we'll look at Purple Group financial results and also sort of like touch base on each of these three sub companies that are under Purple Group. So please do watch this video until the end, because I definitely think that you are going to like what I have in store for you today. Otherwise, the latest financial results that we'll be looking at is the 6-month unaudited financials that Purple Group just recently released. So without a waste of time, let us dive straight into this financial. Otherwise, as seen on the screen, you will notice that for the 6-month unaudited financial results, Purple Group as a whole reported a total revenue of 100.6 million rand, which was 79.5% higher than the results they had reported around the same time last year, which is something that, firstly, when I look at these financial results, it got me to think that Purple Group is doing well. Purple Group is generating more and more revenue, which is something, as I always stress out to investors, to say that it makes investors into coming and want to look deeper into the business as to what's causing them to report such a high revenue. So this is the first tick, or this is the first thing that ought to encourage investors, or it attract investors into coming and invest to a stock. So same with the net income. This company or this group reported a total net income of around 33.9 million rands, which was over 324% higher than the net income they had reported in 2020 around the same time, which is something that ought to encourage you to stay long into this company if you are already investing in this company. Otherwise, I must say that's something that caught my attention when I read these financial statements, guys. It was when I saw their EPS, or their earnings per share. And you remember, for the benefit of those that don't know, this EPS measures the profitability of a company. So the higher the value, the better. So you, as seen on the screen, you will notice that last year in 2020 around the same time, they had reported an EPS of 0.09. But I must say that I was very impressed to see that now for this period that ended in February 2021, they reported, or their EPS was around 85 cents per share, which just means that, guys, this company is becoming more and more profitable, which is something that, again, it attracts investors into coming and investing to a stock. This EPS, as I've said, it's one of the things that almost all investors, if not all, in the stock market, they monitor this figure. And as I've said, the higher it goes, the better. So as I've said, that this company or this group has got 3 companies under it. Let us go and have a look as to what's happening, or how these individual companies performing in terms of revenues and all those things. So when I looked at these individual companies, one thing that I picked up is that the company that's doing so well in this group is our very own famous EasyEquities. EasyEquities is the one that's doing so well. In fact, EasyEquities is the one that's seriously boosting this company's revenue. And I know that most of you who are also into EasyEquities and follow these EasyEquities groups on Facebook, you will agree with me to say that even the groups on Facebook, guys, the numbers are just keeping on getting higher or bigger and bigger, which is something that is making or resulting in this EasyEquity to generate a lot and lots of revenue when comparing them to the other 2 segments or companies. EasyEquities reported a total revenue of about 85 million rands, which was almost 200% higher than the total revenue they reported in EasyEquities last year around the same time. I came to conclude that indeed EasyEquities is doing very well for the People Group as a whole, because if you check the revenue increase, I think you and me can definitely agree to say that majority of the revenue are indeed coming from this, because if you remember, they reported a total revenue of 100.6 million rands, right? So now for EasyEquities alone, they generated a total revenue of about 85 million rands, which is like almost 85% of the entire revenue that People Group reported comes from EasyEquities. So EasyEquities it's a business that's truly generating and lots of income for this People Group. And I also definitely believe that they are still going to generate tons and tons of revenue, because those of you, especially that like I've said, who are in Facebook, you will agree with me that more people are coming into this investing game, and which is going to result in them one way or the other going to use EasyEquities, and that is going to result in People Group once again generating tons and tons of revenue. And as well, towards talking about the EasyEquities, the good thing, or one thing that, of course, those of you who have been investing in this People Group, you will know that by now that they have partnered with Capitec, meaning that some of the Capitec users are able to start investing on this EasyEquities inside Capitec's app, which is something that I again definitely think that it's a good strategic partnership that will bring in more people into coming and invest using the EasyEquity broker. So as I've said, this EasyEquities company is doing so well, because if, for example, if you are to go and have a look at their GT247 company, it performed kind of badly when comparing it to the revenues that they had generated last year around the same time, because as seen on the screen, you'll notice that this company reported a total revenue of about 13 billion rands, which is 49 or almost 50% dropped from the revenue they had reported in 2020 around the same time of about 26 million rands. So this was a drop, or this was a revenue drop which they encountered, or they are encountering in this company, meaning that this is an investment that did not perform well when comparing it to the revenue they had reported last year around the same time. So, but I must say that this is one of the companies that sort of like struggled when looking at the 3 companies that they have under Purple Group, because when looking at the other group, which is the Emperor Asset Management, they reported a total revenue of about 2.4 million rands, which was 67% higher than the revenue they had reported last year around the same time, which is something that ought to tell you that this is also another company that's doing so well, because reporting a 67% higher revenue than the one you had reported previously, and especially when looking at the current challenges that we're going through as a country, this is quite a very good thing. Even that one that did not perform well, I think that it would not be 100% fair to probably judge them and conclude that they're a bad company because of that one company that did not do well, because you will also have to put things like the hard lockdown that we encountered as a country negatively impacted so many companies. Otherwise, in a nutshell, this group, it's doing so well, and as I've said, it also sort of like made me to think of start investing in this company, because it's showing good performance, and especially looking at EasyEquities, I definitely think that it is just the beginning of this company. It is going to still attract many more people into coming and invest using these EasyEquities, and which is going to generate them good revenue. Otherwise, going to look into total assets and total liabilities, guys, this company has got a total assets of about 615 million rands with a total liability of about 246 million rands, which those of you who've been in this channel for some time, you'll know that we use those figures to determine the current ratio. So when I did my calculations, when I divided 615 by 246, I got a current ratio of about 2.5, which is a very good current ratio, because this just means that this company has got more than 2 times its assets than its liabilities, which is a very good thing. Otherwise, another thing that got me attracted into this group is when I saw their cash and cash equivalent, because as seen on the screen, you will notice that this company, for the latest financial results that they just reported, they indicated that they have got a total cash and cash equivalent of about 193 million rands, which is higher when comparing it to the cash and cash equivalent that they had released last year around the same time of about 105 million rands. And with cash and cash equivalents, once again, this is a very good thing for company to have a cash, because as I've said, same with the current ratio, it sort of like offers the highest level of liquidity, as this money can be used to pay some of the short-term obligations and operating expenses. Otherwise, guys, Purple Group is a very good long-term stock that I definitely think that it will do very well as time goes on, especially with the EasyEquities, which is constituting about 85% of the group's total revenue. I definitely think that one can say that this is a company that's doing so well, and it is boosting the total revenue of the entire group. Otherwise, guys, with all that, I definitely think that this is a very good long-term stock that I believe is going to generate you some money. Otherwise, guys, with all that, I make tons and tons of stock market investing videos, and if you think that this video was amazing, please don't forget to hit that like button. If you are new, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell so that YouTube can notify you every time I release a video. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey, and God bless you all.